Hello, everyone, and welcome back. My name is Kia. I run Here for a Good Time plant business. I sell plants online and locally. Today, I wanted to tell you guys about a plant that nearly broke my confidence as a grower. And I wasn't even that new of a grower, but it was just a more difficult plant that I was having issues with. So let's get started. Also, just want to say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Happy holidays and everything to everybody. I hope that everyone had a really great time and stayed safe. I had a blast. It was a really good holiday season. And now we're in the new year in 2026, and I have so many things that I want to do, so many goals, and lots of new content that I want to bring you guys. And this year, my biggest goal is to be consistent because I obviously have not been that consistent. My last video, I think, was uploaded like 2 months ago. So I'm so sorry about that. And I promise I'm going to do better this year. So, anyways, to start off with, I'm going to show you which plant it is. And it is one I've talked about multiple times in the past because it just has my heart. But it is my Philodendron Illimani. So, if you remember in one of the past episodes just a few months ago, I had chopped and propped my Philodendron Illimani, and that was difficult for me to say the least, emotionally speaking. It was just kind of hard to want to chop because it was getting way bigger. The leaves were getting real pretty. But I can confidently say that it's doing really well. This was my first time propagating an Illimani, and I will say I was terrified. I was afraid that I was going to kill it. I've heard a lot of crazy things about people trying to propagate Illimani, and the reason that they're not as common, more expensive and stuff like that is because they seem to just give growers a really hard time. And I will say that when I first brought it home from the IAS show, if you remember that video, it was such a gorgeous plant and it dropped almost all of its leaves by the time I got home within like the first week. I almost cried. I was like, please don't die, please don't die. And so I left it underneath of a grow light that I have, and I'll show you that. It was nerve wracking. I didn't know what I was doing. Obviously, plants do not all get watered the same amount or even at the same time. But a lot of my plants, because they're very similar to each other, tend to dry out at the same time. They tend to react the same ways. And Philodendron Illimani is just not like that. So I am happy to announce that the ones that we propagated are doing quite well. So here is the smaller-ish one. I've got, I think I have two that are still in a water propagation right now as we speak. And then I've got the big one. This was the top cut, if you remember that. It had the real big leaves, very, very mild variegation on this leaf here, but not really, hardly at all. And this one as well. It's starting to pop out a little baby leaf on the back end. Look how cute. And it's got another about to come out. So they're doing really well. They're doing great. They're nice and rooted around the bottom of the pots. And yeah, honestly, it's crazy. I've been able to acclimate it to my environment, which I would say that it probably gets, humidity-wise, I don't think it goes under 40 or 50%, but temperature, it's at any given time at least 70 or so in here. And if you know anything about Philodendron Illimani, they like it hot, they like it humid, and they tend to be the type of plant that needs a lot more water than just regular houseplants. And so that was my biggest downfall. Whenever I brought it home, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And so I kept it under my really bright grow light, and it was okay, but it just kept dropping leaves and kept dropping, and then it would push out a new leaf and drop another leaf. So I finally figured out that the whole issue with it was that I was not watering it enough. Okay, so you know how everyone's like, oh, if you just do this or you just do it on a schedule, you can't. It's not, maybe some people can. Because they have the same plants and everything. But for me, like if you're like me and you have tons of plants and you know that you have different genuses of plants and different watering needs, you can't just water it on a schedule. And so this was one of mine that I had to put my finger down in the soil every single day. I needed to know, like, is it drying out? Is it wet still? How does it feel underneath the soil? Because as we all know, whatever the top of the soil looks like is not congruent with what underneath is going to look like. So this was something that was just really hard for me. This was scary. I almost killed it. I brought it back to life. It got really big, but it lost a lot of its variegation, and that made me kind of sad. Like, the whole reason I bought it was because it was just so gorgeous. It's just such a beautiful plant. And it's Kunso, I think I'm saying that right, Kunso lineage. So what I ended up doing was essentially I put it, originally I had it under the grow light, and when it got bigger, I moved it to the window. Window light, sun UV rays versus the grow light, it just wasn't, for some reason, producing the same amount of variegation. It was starting to revert. And I didn't know what to do other than to prop and chop. So that's what I did. And as you can see, like I said before, the propagations are doing wonderfully. Like, I still have 2 left in the water propagations to get those rooted and potted up. But so far, I at least have these 2 for sale. I don't plan on keeping them, so they will be on my website if anyone is interested. But other than that, I mean, obviously they're not highly variegated or anything. I don't know a lot about the variegation in Ilamanis. I think they can revert, and they're very, very picky. When you chop and prop, it is likely that the variegation is going to come back out, which is exactly what happened, and I'll show you. It's exactly what ended up happening with this Ilamani. And so here is the original plant. Well, it's not really the original, I guess, down here, but I chopped it and it just has grown like a weed. And before, it would push out a leaf and the leaf would die, and in the very beginning. And at this point, I have just done so much better, obviously, at taking care of it and making sure that it has what it needs. And it's just pushing out way more variegation now. So I'm really excited about that. I'm hoping that it stays that way. And we'll just see how it goes. Obviously, I'm going to keep you guys updated. If you're not following my Instagram, like I said, this year I'm going to be way more consistent. I will be posting videos, photos, everything on my Instagram and other places as well. I think my link tree is in the bio. If not, I'm going to add it here in a few minutes. But yeah, then you can see where else you guys can follow me at. And obviously I will keep you guys updated on here as well. But yeah, I'm just really excited about this plant. It really did break my confidence just a little bit in the beginning. Like I said, it had, I think, 7 leaves or so. And by the first week it had like 1 left, and I was so upset. And I think I'm doing really well now. And obviously it's been a long time since I bought it, but I am just so grateful that I didn't lose it. So I'm really thankful for that. But yeah, I mean, they're doing wonderfully. The other 2 are in propagations right now, so I'm not going to move it. But I would say to anyone new and starting out, don't start with the hardest plants, obviously. And if you're not that new, but you're new to maybe getting a plant that's more expensive or a little harder to take care of, do your research. I mean, I could sit here and say I did my research because I did, but I could have done better. I don't think I did it to the fullest extent that I should have. And yeah, that kind of hurt me in the long run, obviously. It took longer for it to grow because I wasn't watering as often as it should have been watered, and I messed up a lot, right? So if there's a plant that's breaking your confidence, don't let it do that. Maybe there's one that you really, really love, but you've killed it once before and you're afraid to buy it again. Do your research until you're real confident and buy it again. Maybe buy just like a small one, start out small. Personally, I like to start out if it's new and it's something I don't fully know how to take care of, even after doing research. I like to buy them. I know it's cheaper to get cuttings, but if you don't know how to take care of it, it's going to be a lot harder, and more than likely you might kill it. So I would suggest, I know that it kind of sucks expense-wise, but if you are wanting one or wanting some other plant that is a little more difficult than others, get one that's fully rooted. Make sure that it's a pot fully rooted, kind of like this. It's already got its roots. It's established, Don't repot it when you get it. I know it's tempting, but don't do that. You'll stress it out. But yeah, just keep going. Try again, okay? That's my positive message out of something that was really sad at one point for the new year. So happy 2026, and I hope that you guys have a great year. I'll see you in the next one.